All right, welcome to Get Em Onside. This is not a drill, but if there has ever been a case of the lunatics running the asylum, you are listening to it, you are watching it, however you're consuming this, it is happening right now. It's origin period, so what happens? Players are backing up, they don't back up. Denan, not backing up. Joel Kane, not backing up. Matt Rogers, friend of the show, usually swans in this time of year to play a role, to fill a gap, not backing up. Ormerod, backing up. But we've got a very special show, very special guest as well, playing on the right wing alongside me today, Denan Kemp.
Yes.
Welcome to Get Em Onside, the debut.
Mate, the debut. It's an honour to be on the pick and swing for you boys. I will say, look, you turn to a Queenslander. Now, Matt Rogers, obviously Queenslander, but a bit of union about him, which does pull him down a notch or two, where you've got a pure and true Queenslander here. And look, I'm backing up to back up because I did a post-game review last night. Yeah. I did another review and then I get a call from Gibbo at about 6 a.m. this morning while I'm trying to coddle my multiple children at the same time because I'm a modern father, and say, yeah, I'll do it for you boys. You know what? Because that's what Queenslanders do.
And you're wearing blue today, of all colours.
Dark blue.
Interesting, dark blue. Let's dive into it. Actually, before we get there, Matt Rogers was supposed to be here, was held up on the tarmac. Apparently flights cancelled everywhere. Flights cancelled. Coming out of Brisbane everywhere. Is it true, or is there truth to rumours that it is the tears of Queenslanders that are just grounding all flights on the tarmac up there?
Listen,
because you're a salty bunch.
As I said, I do think that the fact that he spent so long in Union may affect his... it takes him down a notch or two.
Interesting, okay.
So if he had stayed in league, I think he finds a way to get down here. I think he rides down here, he runs down here. I mean, I live in Cronulla. That's basically Gold Coast. It's about 3 hours away, Cronulla, in traffic, so I'm still here.
There is a little bit of Gold Coast about Cronulla. I'm down there as well, Kempy. That's all right.
Great spot. Actually,
we look after each other.
Yeah, we do.
Before we speak about Origin, I mentioned his name before, Joel Kane, not here, and I actually sort of toss and turn. Do we celebrate his big win that he had in Origin because he's not here? But we're going to, because that's the sort of people we are here at Get Em Onside, Kempy. He was so keen on Nathan Cleary for player of the match. This is what he had to say going into Game 3.
I just think 750 Nathan Cleary. I'm convinced. It's an epiphany.
You've had an epiphany, haven't you?
I just think he's that good a player and champions over time. Whether it's the World Cup, it's the champs who stand up. This is the one thing eluding him. I can just see it. Nathan Cleary, 750. I think if the Blues win, he's just got it done.
Now, of all places to be, once you've had a fill-up like that, Joel K's in Vegas right now.
Oh, wow.
Of all places, you've just backed a $7.50 winner. You've told everyone in Australia that's what you want to be on, that's what you are on. And he's in Vegas. Are we worried for Sugar all over there? He's going to spend it wisely?
No, I don't think it's his first rodeo. I'll just
not
say
his
that.
First?
It's not his first rodeo. I will say, listen, yeah, 750 is juicy, but he was a second favourite. Like I tend to look at it like that. Yeah, all right bet.
Oh, a little bit meek, you reckon? Okay.
Yeah, see, I'm going for fourth or fifth favourites, bit of juice there. I mean, second favourite, a little bit of a claim to claim, I guess.
I actually want to talk about a post that you put up this morning, Kempy, Thursday morning, Bloke in a Bar's Instagram account. Because the Nathan Cleary discussion has been, it went on in the lead-in to Game 3. He has to dominate an Origin arena before he's really put up against, some of the big names that have come before him. This is his resume that you put up. 4 premierships. This is all by the age of 28 as well, by the way. 4 premierships, 2 Clive Churchill medals, 1 Wally Lewis medal now. He's got the equal most New South Wales Man of the Match awards after last night. The equal most points in an Origin decided, which we'll touch on soon as well. Brad Fittler medalist, 3-time Dally M halfback of the year. He's won a World Cup. He's played in 5 grand finals and won 3 minor premierships. Is the debate over about this dominating Origin arena? 1, and 2, is he now in the sort of walk-up territory for immortality post-career?
Nathan Cleary is one of the best rugby league players to ever play the game. Period. It's end of discussion. There is nothing else to add to it. I know people try to throw out the Dally M. Darren Lockyer didn't win a Dally M, so I don't think that. Also, I do believe the Dally M system can be flawed at times. He is favourite to win it this year. He also would have made it. He would have won it most years if he wasn't injured. Nathan Cleary is one of the GOATs. Now, if you want to say to me there are other GOATs that are better than him, I can be like, yeah, fair enough. If you want to say to me he's the literal greatest player of all time, I can also live with that. The debate is over. He came, he conquered, Suncorp Stadium, 13 plus, underdogs, back against the wall, whole state against him, 2 states against him essentially. He did it, he nailed it at 28 years old. And what's scary is, if he does stay in rugby league, he might have another 5 Origin series in him. So how many man of the matches is that going to be? He might another 3 or 4. He's got about a 50% win ratio. I think Andrew Johns had about 54%. It's over. The debate's over for me. What about you for me, man?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I never sort of bought into the conversation that he had to dominate, and I like to use inverted commas. It's like, what does it really mean? Like, it's pretty hard to, and there's such small sample sizes. We see 3 of these games every year.
I'll tell you what it means. It means me at a kebab shot at 3 a.m. after 20 beers.
True. It does mean that, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes. If you want to know what dominating Origin is, just take that, but in the Origin arena.
Would have been a bit of that happening in and around Caxton Street last night, I would have thought.
Absolutely.
A lot of people commiserating, but a lot of people celebrating as well. So on the game, you're obviously a proud Queenslander. Where did it all go wrong for your state and team?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one because this current crop and this coach and Billy Slater and coaching staff, they've played above themselves so often. It feels a bit unfair to be hypercritical of them in this game. We can still critique them and say completion rate was poor, they looked a bit flat. I think probably the most concerning thing coming out of the game is not necessarily that we lost, because the Blues did play really well, but it's more, that's 3 games at Suncorp that we've lost now under the Billy Slater reign, and I wonder whether we need to really not to say off with their heads and let's burn the whole thing down, but just have a real deep look at what is different with this roster and this coaching staff about the preparation for Suncorp. Are we too comfortable there? Is it too much like home for us? Do we need to get a bit out of our comfort zone? So I think that's something to look at. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the halves now heading into next year. Although Walker wasn't great in Game 3, Game 1 and 2, he was essentially man of the match. Munster, not so great at Game 3, and Billy Slater, he will have those conversations. I do think Munster's earned the right to go out on his terms, whether it's this year or next year. At the very least, get a crack at the jersey next year if he wants to keep going around. So there's plenty to talk about, but I don't want to be too hypercritical because the same team that I was, disappointed with last night has offered me so much pride and happiness over the last few years that, a bit of a down night, I can take that.
If you had to guess, looking ahead to next season, is Munster there?
I don't think so. I think Munster himself will probably say, that was my last series. Now, I want to be really clear, I'm not pushing for that at all. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to say, no, I'm going around again, he's earned the right. I just think Munster, he's so selfless when it comes to Queensland. He'll look at the next generation and say, Dearden and Walker are ready. They're good to go. And you've obviously got Ezra there. His form hasn't been great, but we know what he's capable of. You've got Clifford there as well. Fogarty's a little bit older, but he's also a Queenslander. You've got Ayongi at fullback. You've got quite a few people coming through. I think Jai Gray as well. What I mean? There are people there or thereabouts. So I think he's earned the right to go out the way he wants, but I do think it's probably because he's already alluded to retirement in podcast with his club stuff. So I'd probably say it will be his last year. But again, I'm not pushing that on anyone. He's a great of Origin.
The game, not without controversy, which we've become pretty used to in Origin. It was a big moment in the game as well because there seemed to be a little turning point. It was 18-8, Queensland starting to get on top. It was the Bradman best try. Now, he goes length of the field, and to be fair, he had to do a lot of work. He fends off his club teammate and Kalen Ponga and goes 90 metres to score the try. That was a clear turning point in the game. At the time, there was, I think in the coverage, someone from the sideline said they'd spoken to an NRL official on the sideline. They'd gone to a camera in the corner post, of all places, and that confirmed that there was a gap and there was no touch to Jack Bostock, which I think you, me, everyone at home could see there was a clear touch. They've come out and said today, NRL spokesperson said, after reviewing all available angles, the bunker did not believe there was sufficient evidence to overturn the on-field decision. Upon detailed review after match, the NRL believes that while it was an extremely tight decision, the ball appeared to be touched.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Upon detailed review, so we're saying that the video ref didn't have a detailed review. Did they add in camera angles after the thing? This was a Barry Crocker. This was a black eye on a game that has just signed a $5.3 billion deal. And I think, I want to be clear about this. Queensland have got the rub of the green and it's changed momentum in series before. So I've got no issue with in the sense of bird's eye view, you get them sometimes, you don't get them sometimes. And on this day, New South Wales got them, and even if they didn't get them, New South Wales was a better side.
Yeah.
So we've got them in the past, and that happens. The more concern I have is actually towards the future of the game, but also club football, because how many times over the last 4 weeks has the NRL had to come out and say we got that wrong on a bunker call? I reckon there's Tua Picky try against the Cowboys, the Dolphins knock on that he said he wasn't passing when he was. You've got the intercept against the Raiders and the Dragons. I could go on. I could keep going. That's in the last 4 weeks.
Milky last week.
The Milky Jenkins double movement. That's 4 weeks of absolute howlers. Add in this one. Then you could also say there was a hand on Selwyn Cobbo when he got stripped, but I'm okay with that one because it didn't really affect it.
Yeah.
Why didn't we look at the Brayley one at the end there? I know the game was over. Yeah, it's really, really poor. And like I understand, look, there's going to be people celebrating this call going sucked in. The Blues won, sucked in. The problem is, and look, I get it, it's Origin, but that's going to happen to your club team, and you won't be saying the same thing then. So I want to be clear: the Blues were the better side by a mile, and Queensland have got the calls before in the past. But this is a concern for the game going forward, especially after we just signed a big deal.
When we spoke about Nathan Cleary before, so he scored 18 points last night, equal most in Origin, in a game in Origin history with Jonathan Thurston. We've got a little segment on this show called Important to Some. It's when a big moment happens, or sometimes doesn't happen, that affects the punters. And that had a little bit to do with Nathan Cleary's record or tying of the record. So, very end of the game, Hudson Young scores a try, which we're about to see. We can roll the tape here. He scores a try. The scoreline at the time was 26-12. It's pretty scrappy, to be fair. The game's over. New South Wales don't really know what to do with it. If you're an unders punter, you're probably just saying, just die on the footy and let us get it over with. He scores a try. So that takes the total to 42 points. Now, it was 43 and a half. He's got the option, Nathan Cleary, of taking the kick right next to the post to take it from 42 to 44. That means the overs punters have gotten the cue, they've collected, they're celebrating, declines the kick, but it also means that now he's stuck with 18 points with Jonathan Thurston. Do you reckon he knew that was the case and he's just such a humble sort of bloke that he said, you know what, I don't need to be the outright point scorer. I'm quite happy to be tying it with one of the other goats in JT. Or you think he had no idea at all, he just wanted to celebrate?
Yeah, so the game's won and he actually declines the kick.
Actually declines, well done. That's good for you. That's good.
Thank you. I just had to get that in there. I'm sorry. No, I don't think he noticed. I think if you've watched Cleary, especially over the last few years, there has been a real focus on mental health and not mental health in the sense of things are going wrong, but more your mental fortitude in sport, living in the moment, enjoying the moments as well. And I think that Cleary seems like the guy that's like, you know what? I don't want to stop this momentous moment with my brothers enjoying it. Just take a kick that doesn't matter. Let me be in the moment. I think he probably just got asked. He was like, no, I'm sweet, and celebrate with the boys. I don't think he was aware of the record being broken. But I actually just think it says what kind of bloke he is. The fact that he could add to his tally. That's 20 points in the game, which is crazy enormous, to think of in a decider. But he wanted to celebrate with his mates, and that's what got the victory. So, yeah, it's an incredible performance. I had to give you another stat as well for Nathan Cleary. So I'm pretty sure the Blues scored 13 tries this series. He was involved with 7 of the tries of the 13 that were scored. He also had 26 tackles and 0 missed last night.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
After game 2 where he missed 10. Missed 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still think he might have had a dodgy... Was it the hit pointer or something going into game?
Yeah, well, there was a report that he was getting needled to play. So I'm really happy for Cleary. I really am. It's been a long journey, but he's earned it. That
was important to some, and then people always slide into our DMs here as well on Get Em Onside, Kempy, to flag bets where they feel they've been hard done by. What about this? So this is Charlie Stack on Insta. He slid in. So this is the bet that he had. He had exactly 44 points.
Oh.
So the conversion goes over, it lands on 42. That's one leg. New South Wales minus 11.5. And he also had Sam Walker and Nathan Cleary to be player or the match, A or B. Now, how did he land on this bet? This is the essay that he sent in, so you'll have to bear with me. In search of an Origin same-game multi, my mate jumped in his car yesterday afternoon and the odometer read 11:44:77 when he got out of the car at home. So he texts in the WhatsApp group. He goes, "What does this mean? This is obviously a sign. It's an omen of some description."
Yeah.
They landed on 11 would be the line, minus 11.5. 44 would be the total, yes. And man of the match, either of the 7 halfbacks. He then goes on to say, that was important to us, boys. If the coal miner, me, was half the man of the people he says he is, he would look kindly on us. Now that's where you're wrong, Charlie Stack. That's punting, all right?
Yeah, the punting goals can be cruel.
That was important to you, but conversely, if you're on the unders, it's important to them too. So there's yin and yang to all this, mate. And also, Charlie, if you want a free lesson, you shouldn't have had Sam Walker as part of that bet, you would have got yourself a better price because New South Wales can't cover minus 11.5 and Sam Walker win the bet. So I'm going to clip you on the way through there as well, Charlie Stack. But that was important to some.
I will say I respect the omenry. To notice that omen and go all in, a lot of respect. I will say, now granted, I'm sure the win would probably be better, but if you did win, would you have got a shout out on the show? That's what you have to ask yourself. So shout out to that WhatsApp group.
That's true.
Make memes of us. You know what? It's Fosball. It's now Schnozball. Schnozball, it was a joke a few weeks ago when I said it. Schnozball is a real thing.
Is that catching on?
I made some hats. I made hats.
Is there hats?
Yeah, there's only 20 ever made. I'm going to give them away because in celebration of Schnozball's win on this.
Oh, well, it's only 20, so I'm not every chance of getting one, but I wouldn't mind one of those.
Okay,
we can make a few phone calls.
You'll get your people to speak to my people. We'll see what we can
Should we put Origin in the back window and look ahead to round 19? You okay to do that?
Yeah, outside of that, I just want to talk like Bradman Best, incredible. Hudson Young, incredible. Payne Haas, unbelievable.
Yep.
And I do want to give Laurie Daly credit. Like, two things can be true. I stand by my critique of his selections and bench rotation in game 1 and 2, whilst also praising his decision to start Moses. I would have had Strange there.
Yep.
Moses kicked for 700 metres. It was a huge part of their game plan. So I just want to give Laurie Daly a rap and a bit of credit because he's a fantastic bloke and some good things happen to good people, and I'm happy for him there.
Didn't miss in the press conference.
Yeah,
I've never seen Laurie.
I'll be interested to see, is he talking about, because like I genuinely haven't seen that much personal stuff. Now, the only thing I could think of was the putting to sleep before a game, that whole article that came out from Queensland journos. That it's not that brutal when it comes to Origin. I wonder whether he feels that was planted and it's not true. If it is the case that they just made that story up, that's when I think that he has a right to be able to say, and I'll say as well, like if those journos were at game 1 and 2 press conferences and they didn't make game 3 and they were in Queensland, I tend to agree with Laurie. Like, face some music, mate.
Show some balls, I believe the quote was from Oz.
Well,
Schnozball. There we go. I like it.
Schnozball's the winner.
All right, Origin in the past, round 19. Let's go. West Tigers hosting the New Zealand Warriors. Can be to kick things off. Friday, 8 p.m, Campbelltown Stadium. West Tigers, they went down to the Dragons last weekend, which that left their season. Is it balancing on a knife edge, or it might have just tipped over and be completely
No,
over?
I think it's done. Like even if they'd go on a little bit of a run, I just think that if you're going to play like that when your season's on the line against a team that, although were gutsy and definitely getting better, like they still struggle with the Dragons. They're not full of stars. Really poor performance from the Tigers, and I just wonder whether sometimes don't get me wrong, Benji Marshall is a legend of the game, and also I've been a big fan of his coaching, and he's taken his club to new levels as to where it was at. But he's a very new age coach, and sometimes the downfalls of this new generation, if you lean too much into it, when it gets to in the middle of the season, like shortcuts can be taken, and because you're not as hard on them, whereas like the benefit of the old school love is like, yes, it is harsher, and yes, it can put people offside, but sometimes that old school traditional things shine through when it comes to standards, and I just see a few things slipping, and people kind of like letting it slip, like watching it and not even saying anything about it. And so I look at the Tigers, and I just think their standards have slipped. And look, maybe it's not a Benji thing, but they're not the same team that I saw at the start of the year. I'll put it that way in regards to standards. So maybe it's just a one-off bad week, but they definitely need to turn things around quickly because it does look like the season's over.
Gets hard for him as well. So no Api Coruscant now. He's out with a pec injury. Get Jerome Luai back. He missed that game to delayed concussion symptoms. Samuel Afino as well, another welcome return. So Jessesi Lanyon will start at hooker. Jock Madden obviously makes way for Luai's return. For the Wars, DWZ, he's out, but they get a couple of big names back. James Fisher-Harris, Leka Halasima, both back from injuries. Mitch Barnett, Kurt Capewell won't back up from Origin. Lofi Campera is also back in the Wars side to add a bit of strike out wide. We're seeing the last game these teams played against each other back in round 4. West Tigers get the victory here. And a lot of it had to do, that was Tino Tavana. Might have been his debut or maybe his second game where there was 3, I reckon, West Tigers tries were purely all off the back of effort from him. They get the win over there against the Wars, and you're in this situation now, looking back, saying, how the hell did the West Tigers beat the Wars over there? So, what aside from you saying before the standards may have slipped a touch, what has fundamentally changed for the West Tigers from that point of the season there, where they're up and about? Benji Ball was being touted as a sort of next big thing to where they are now. I know injuries and suspension aside.
Yeah, that's a tough one because it was a bit of a blip on the radar for the Raiders. Like that was probably their worst performance of the whole season. Madden had a masterclass in that game as well. His form's dropped off a little bit. I do think they have been a bit banged up, and I know they were actually missing quite a few players in that game, but when you're fresh, it's a bit easier to cover injuries. Now that they're banged up across the board, it's a bit harder. They've had some, I will say, they haven't had the most injuries, but in regards to like literally the top 6 players you don't want injured, they've all been injured. So, again, to me, it's just standards though. Like I think at the start of the season, you build them all in preseason, and it looks like they carried over in that game. They seem to have just slipped away when it comes to mid-year, unfortunately.
Their defence as well has been. It was a welcome change to the West Tigers at the start of the year. I know they were doing some great things in attack, but their defence seemed to be a little bit more buttoned up as well. But it's been lacking the last few, probably I'd say eight weeks. It's really gone to bed. Now we're seeing. Sunia Taruva has been playing in the centres, keeps being named on the wing but playing in the centres. He jammed in on that occasion against the Dragons. Again, the Dragons not the best attacking side, Kempy. They were able to find holes. Makasini on this occasion comes out of the line. Setu 2 gets a line break. They set up this play after that Setu 2 line break there and decide to go left. They almost butcher it with a big cutout there. They're sliding over. Skelton does get there in cover, but Val's able to go straight past him. So their numbers on their left edge are pretty poor compared to the NRL average, and we're seeing there both sides of the field. They really need to tighten up. And you look at the Wars, you've got AKP coming back. Even with no Dallin, they've got Chance, who I think scored 4 tries in a game a couple of weeks ago. So the Reds have to be really buttoned up here.
Well, I mean, look at that last try. Like that was, if they're trailing on the inside and they don't walk when the play goes past them, they make that tackle easily.
Yeah.
I think also, Benji constantly swapping and changing the centre and wing. I feel a bit sorry for the players there because it's like, you know how hard it is to build combinations and, Taruva on the wing, he's in the centres. I think he's more of a winger. To'o as well, Stafford Toa, he's also been moved in and out. So it's a bit hard to expect these wingers and centres to build combinations when they're not being selected week in, week out. Now, some of it has been injury, but also I think it has been a bit self-inflicted as well, building those combinations. So hope they can turn it around. Now,
new to the show, Kempy, obviously we do a thing here called Flair Bets, where we pay homage to the great Ric Flair. Okay. We really sort of pin the shoulders back. Now, for me, as you would probably well know, me pinning the shoulders back might get me around the $4 mark. Joel, a little bit more adventurous to me, maybe $8, $9, $10 maybe. Dan Ganane can really push the boat out. He can get upwards of sort of $20, $21. I'm just going to let this bet do the talking here because you've been known to swing from the fences from time to time. Take it away with your debut Flair here on Get Em Onside.
So this is me Flair bet. Tamate Martin a try. Jerome Luai a try, even though is he ruled out to concussion though? We'll have to check that.
Jerome Luai?
Yeah.
No, he's back.
He's back. Okay, my bad. Jerome Luai. I thought he got ruled out like last night. Anyway, we'll see. Jerome Luai, 1 try or more, and Jacob Laban, 1 try or more. I actually think the value there is crazy. Laban I think he scored in 2 or 3 of the last 5 games he's played. Tamate Martin, he's also a known try scorer, and Jerome Luai, he scored a hat-trick only a few weeks ago. Yeah. I think there's value there.
If he is out, we're well resourced here at Get Em Onside. I wouldn't just fix that up in post.
Yeah, okay.
That's all good.
Okay. Maybe Instagram got me. Social media got me.
Just the 1 win of their last 8 games at Campbelltown Sports Stadium as well. Tigers. Not a happy hunting ground. All right, let's move on. Dolphins take on the Sharkies. Saturday, 3 p.m, KO Stadium. Just the second game at KO Stadium this season. The last game that was played there, it was the beginning of Fosball, round 5. Manly went up there and absolutely pantsed the Dolphins.
The arch nemesis of Snozball.
Yes, Fosball and Schnoz. When is that game? Do we know when that game is?
Ooh, I'm not sure.
There's some merch for you.
Yeah, okay. Ideas. You're an ideas man.
I'm wanting a little cut of that. For the Dolphins, so the big one, clearly, no Izzy Katoa. He's out still for a few weeks. Jack Bostock failed his HIA during Origin. He's going to miss. All the other Origin stars named to back up. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, Cobbo, Max Plath, Tommy Flegler. The Sharkies, same starting side that defeated the Broncos last weekend. Again, Origin stars listed in the reserves. This looks like an out-and-out shootout to me. KO Stadium, 3 p.m. Saturday. Sign me up, Kempy.
Yeah, I don't mind the Sharkies in this one.
Really?
Well, the Dolphins have been up for a long time, and it was a close loss their last game. And I just wonder whether the Sharkies will be underestimated by the Dolphins. So they won 8 in a row, then they had a tight loss to the Knights. I don't know, and I just think that the Sharkies looked confident against the Broncos. There was a bit of energy, a bit of pizzazz about them. So, if you're just going head-to-head, I would lean towards the Dolphins, but I think there's a bit of value in the Sharkies.
So the prices, we saw them on the screen before. Dolphins, $1.56. Sharkies, $2.44. The line's a tricky one, 4.5 plus 4.5 the Sharkies. The total is where I want to get a little bit fruity. It's 49.5. You go through these two teams, their daytime averages. When they played afternoon footy this season, the Dolphins are going at about 59.5. The Sharkies, 55.5. Now, clearly, we're waiting on a few players backing up from Origin, but from memory, I don't think anyone really came out of the game, apart from Bostock, who we know is going to be out. I think they all pulled up fairly okay. I want to talk about Nicho Hynes and get your opinion on him. Missed a few games of footy, come back against the Broncos, probably his game of the year for the Sharkies. Without him, Braden Trindle has taken his game to a new level. So it almost felt that there might have been a bit of pressure on Nicho coming into this game. I think it was his second game back. They lost that first one against the Roosters, I believe it was. What have you made of Nicho's return from injury the last couple of weeks, particularly this Broncos game?
Yeah, I think it was last year in the final series. He was relatively quiet and kind of just did his job and allowed Trindle to be the main man. Now, my understanding he had a pretty serious calf injury during that time. He looks fully fit at this stage. I think Nicho Hynes, the key is, and look, it's a bit of a cliche, but especially for him, run. Yeah. Just run the ball and just get the defence on the back foot. He came through essentially as a fullback in first grade. I know he mixed and matched positions, but he exploded at the Storm as a fullback. And I just think that he's the kind of guy that he's a confidence player. Very rarely do you see Nicho Hynes struggle the first 20 minutes and bring it back around. But if you can get a bit of momentum going his way, he can be super dangerous. And also, although his ball playing has improved dramatically, he's not necessarily Katoa or Nathan Cleary with ball in hand. So it's why sometimes when they get the 7 on their back, they think they have to be Joey Johns. Yep. It's no, you play your style of footy, which is the space is created around you when you're playing flat foot. And look, you go back to his Dally M year, a lot of that was just front foot footy. It was just, there was a quick play of the ball and he would just be onto it. So I just think he needs to lean into that.
It's a cracking game in the halves. I know no Katoa, but Schneider comes into that Dolphins number 7 role. But Cody Nikorima's this year has been exceptional. So Katoa's out. I think Cody probably takes a step up here. And some of the highlights he's been putting up, Herbie's just feasting on him on that left-hand side. He puts Nafahu here through a nice little cutout. And again, this is just beautiful little soft hands. He notices the centre is jamming in hard to put pressure on himself, and there's space for Cody. He's putting together an almighty year. Is he re-signed for the Dolphins yet, or is that still?
He's not, which is crazy. So the tough thing for the Dolphins was, and look, they said it has had no say in it, but I still don't understand why he hasn't re-signed. So George Williams re-signed quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And this was before Nikorima came in and had his incredible year. But what I do find strange is Nikorima killed it last year as well. They had the leading attack in the competition. So yeah, the Dolphins have said the two do not affect each other in regards to, because we've signed George Williams doesn't mean we can't sign Cody Nikorima. However, I just can't see how that'd be true. George Williams, surely he's not coming across on 300 grand or something. You'd have to say 500k minimum. And then you've got, Cody Nikorima, he's not going to sign for minimum himself. He'd probably want around 400 or 500k. And so how can you afford to have essentially $1 million invested to a 6 plus also $1 million in your 7? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, I hope it makes sense for him this game, because I'm hoping Herbie's going to keep feeding off Cody down that left-hand side of the field. So Herbie Farnworth, 2+, and the total match points over is my Ric Flair there, Kempy. See, I'm getting really punchy here. You've inspired me with your $94 shot. I've gone double figures here, which is very, very rare.
$10.
That's me really hitting them back.
I'm almost scared of this new version of you, mate.
I can tell you're impressed.
Jesus. Wow.
All right, let's get the next game. Bulldogs take on the Raiders Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Kick-off, 8-course stadium. The Bulldogs, $1.55. The Raiders, $2.47. The Milk are outsiders. Are you putting a line through the Milk season? Is it officially done and dusted now?
Yes, the Milk are done.
Yeah, the Milk are done. The Milk has gone sour. Total 45.5. The Bulldogs off the bye, 3 wins in a row before that. Only against, 2 of these 3 are lesser opposition, I would think. They beat Titans. They beat Manly, to be fair. That was Turbo's game back, so that's a decent win. And Parramatta before that as well. But it's been all off the back of defence. They've kept each of those 3 teams to 12 points. So finally, they're able to find their groove again, the Bulldogs, which is built off defence. They've named the exact same side that defeated the Titans before the bye in round 17. Jacob Preston listed on the reserves. He'll be a welcome inclusion if he can come back. For the Raiders, Jaden Brayley's out. Sevilio Tamale, he had a really tough day against the Dragons. He was hooked early. I want to ask you, is there any moment in your NRL career that you can sympathise at all with what Sevilio went through in that moment? Maybe not being hooked, but there was a moment in the game where you've dropped a couple of balls?
Nah, like I didn't have a long career, so there's that. So the sample size is quite small. I was actually always pretty decent under the high ball. Like, granted, I didn't have the tackle breaking ability that Tamale had, so I never really had those kind of moments. But any player has had, tough things happen to them in their career, whether it be, you're not playing really well or whatever. So you can definitely empathise with him. I think Ricky Stewart handled it probably the best he possibly could. I really like that. I feel like Ricky Stewart maybe half a decade ago or even a decade ago, there's no way he puts an arm around a rookie like that and says, mate, I got your back. This is just the way we had to go for this game. But I like that. It shows you how much he's developed. And also, it is really important that we make sure a guy that, Tamale Head came out about 4 weeks ago, I think, saying that he was struggling a bit with his confidence and maybe just getting back in reserve grade. And it's really important that, underneath that footy player that we see on TV, there's a human being and like, there are certain things that are a lot more important of whether he plays good footy or not, and I think Ricky Stewart identified that.
Mentioned Jacob Preston on the reserves list earlier. He will be a very welcome return. It's been the one shining light of a pretty average Bulldogs season to this date. Has been the combo between Galvin and Preston. Certainly on that right edge, we saw. Can you believe they beat the Panthers this night? Of all teams they've actually chalked up a win against, it was the Penrith Panthers, and he took Blaze Talangi to the cleaners that night. Jacob Preston threw that short ball off Galvin. Does it on the right. They've also done it on the left as well. Not often you see Lockie Galvin pop up on the left-hand side of the field, but he does here against the Sharkies and puts Jacob Preston through with an absolute peach. We think Preston's going to be there, whether it's right or left. I'm not sure it really matters. We can see he does it on both ends. What have you made of Galvin's recent form? I know Matty Johns has come out and said he's probably been their best player.
As in Galvin?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been one of their best players this year, but he's playing out of position.
Yeah,
I think that I think it's been good putting Critter in there because it's just I feel like when Galvin was put in at 7, he just felt like he needed to do everything. Yeah. Whereas what I like about Critter being there is he can do a lot of the talking, get the guys around, and you can just inject yourself. So I think he's been a little bit quieter the last few weeks, but quieter doesn't necessarily mean bad. I remember a few weeks ago when they lost and they had all this ball in a good end. I think in the first half, him and Matt Burton had like 22 runs together in the first half, in the first 20 minutes or something like that. And it sounds a bit bizarre, but it's like, I don't want 22 runs from my halves in the first 20 minutes. And I think that what Critter has done has actually just taken a bit of that pressure off him, but also a bit of the ball off him so he can inject himself at better times. So I've always been a big, whatever happened at the Tigers, it happened. You can critique that at the time. Since that moment's happened, I've been a big fan of Galvin, and it's not his fault the Dolphins are where they're at. I've been a big fan of him.
I've got the Raiders winning a very, very close one here, a bit of an upset, but time for you to take the ball, Kempy.
Okay.
Flair time. Give it to us.
It's Flair time now. I'm going Tommy Starling, 1 or more tries, and I'm going Harry Hayes, 1 or more tries. Now, listen, a great story about Harry Hayes. So, have we got time? We got a little time for a little story?
Give us 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Okay, so my second son, we had a name for him that we were going to name him all the way up to it. The morning that my wife said, my water is broken, we need to go to the hospital. She comes in, and the name was her, what she wanted. I had a secret name that I'd mentioned ages ago once.
Secret
name? Not secret, but I secretly wanted that name.
Right.
But I allowed her to have the name that she wanted. She walks in just randomly, wasn't keen on it for 6 months, and says, Hayes will be the name of our son. That I had already put a bet on Harry Hayes to score any time, plus Dylan Walker. $55 gets up that same weekend.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
The same weekend the boy came along.
The same weekend that she instead of naming it the other name, we named our second son Hayes.
Yeah.
I already had a multi on for Hayes and Dylan Walker, $55. Boom, nailed it.
And you're telling me, punting omens don't exist?
They exist.
Come on.
Another little omen just for the Brisbane Broncos fans is both years that I've had sons, Broncos make grand finals.
I could get used to this little story time with Kempy. This could be an ongoing part of the show.
There you go. The only problem is I need to have more sons.
Okay.
To get the Broncos into the
I'll leave you.
Or daughters, we don't know. Daughters could be premiership.
Yeah.
Could be premiership stuff. So daughter or son, doesn't matter.
Powerhouse now, the Broncos NRLW side. All right, let's move on. Roosters take on the Parramatta Eels. 7:35 Saturday night, Allianz Stadium. Probably no shocks to anyone. The Roosters are big favourites here. $1.30 head-to-head. Parramatta Eels $3.50. The line, tricky one, 10.5. So we know James Tedesco failed his HIA in Origin with that. What about Britton Nickera? So he charged over Teddy, stood over him, said, let's go, goes up again. Probably didn't need to raise the arm.
Oh, don't even. That in Origin, we got the ball taken off us, momentum completely... bro, don't get me started.
See what I've done? That's bad hosting on my part. I've thrown you an Origin hospital pass to get you really fired up. Let's get back on this game. Teddy, failed HIA. Lindsay Collins is also out. He got a concussion in round 17, so that's going to carry over from that. Nat Butcher suspended. Still waiting to see on Marky Mark. Named it back up. You would think he would, unless the celebration's got a little bit too spicy. Sam Walker still TBC as well. Copped a little bit of a knock.
I don't think he'd play, would he?
Probably not.
Yeah, he went off with HIA.
Yeah. Daniel Tupou returns from a calf injury for game 300. His career is incredible. Probably doesn't get celebrated enough with everything that's going on with AJ. We're seeing AJ break the record before of us. His career is exceptional. For the Parramatta Eels, Mitchell Moses, you would think back up as well. Araz Nanva starts in the centres, covering Sean Russell, who is out. But probably the talking point, Jonah Pezzett again drops the reserves. Jason Rolls opting for Ronald Volkman. What is your take on the Pezzett sort of scenario at the Parramatta?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's a pretty clear-cut decision. I think Volkman is the better player right now. I think he's playing better footy. Pezzett was solid, and in the end, he had the essentially match-winning try, which was incredible. But for most of the game, or for all of it, Volkman was better, and I just think that, at this stage, that Volkman's a preferred match also for Moses. You've got to remember as well, Volkman out-and-out 6, whereas Pezzett is a similar player to Moses. Little bit concerning, though, for Pezzett because, he's going into the Broncos, and I'll tell you what, if he thought there was pressure at the Eels, imagine being the marquee signing for a Broncos team that's just had one of the worst premierships defensive of all time. The pressure's going to be on. He does seem like the kind of young fella that loves the pressure, but it's going to be a big climb to hill for Pezzett at the Broncos.
I'm taking the flair for this one. Not quite $10 Kempy, a little bit lower this time around, so I'm just starting to get a little bit soft as the show progresses. They're going to target the Eels' right edge defence. The man coming back in can score a try or two. Daniel Tupou, 2+ into the Roosters by a big margin. I've gone 17.5 just to get that 18 number on my side. Are you with me?
Incredible stuff. Just brave. That's all I want to say.
It's brave, isn't it?
Brave, yeah. Wow.
We saw some brave footy on Wednesday night. This is brave punting.
Really doing the great man proud, Ric Flair.
We're still alive, so I don't have to do him that proud. Ric Flair. South Sydney take on the Newcastle Knights. This is a ripper of a game. Sunday, 2 p.m. at Core Stadium. No Cody Walker. Let's quickly get your thoughts on Cody Walker's... what happened last week, lashed out with the kick. We know that he plays angry. It's in his game, probably what makes him good. Has it just gone too far now where he's becoming maybe a bit more of a liability than an asset to that team? Yeah,
I'll be honest, it's gone too far for a while. I've never been a fan of if you've got the ball and you just give an egregious penalty away for no reason. I think that, listen, if you shoot out of the line and your shoulder slips up and that's a head high, I'm okay with those kind of penalties, but you've got the ball, you get up and you push and shove someone and then they get the ball. I've never been a fan of that. Listen, Cody Walker is an absolute legend of a bloke off the field. He's such a great guy. Hopefully this is the line in the sand because, it's one thing to do something that just looks so bad. It just looks bad. I know the damage wasn't great, like crazy, but it just looked bad. But also to rob a rookie of his first ever NRL try. I know he eventually scored, I'm pretty sure.
He did, yeah.
It's still just not a good look. I hope this is the line in the sand. He's a captain. He just can't do it. So hopefully it's the line in the sand.
Can hardly split them. The Bunnies $1.98, Newcastle Knights $1.85. Some big names. We're waiting to see whether they are going to back up. Cameron Murray has been named. Another tricky one I want to get your opinion on. Matt Duffy to start at fullback, Jai Gray to the bench.
Yeah, it's been a weird one because there was a few weeks ago where he did similar.
He sat on the bench for the whole
game. Yeah, and it was was Jai Gray injured? Is he not injured? And there was this very grey area that we didn't really know. I will say Jai Gray, his ball playing in attack isn't necessarily a strong suit of his. It's something he needs to work on. His ball running is incredible. His fitness is incredible. He's hard. He's ticker, all that stuff. And the problem is Duffy isn't that flash hot as well. I guess he's just a little bit better than Jai Gray. And I do know, I actually debuted at fullback for Wayne. And what he would do is, because my ball playing wasn't great at that stage, because I hadn't played much rugby league, in good ball, Darius would go to fullback.
Yeah.
So he does highly value the ability to strip numbers at fullback. Carmichael Hunt is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Darren Lockyer, perfect example.
For the Newcastle Knights, Ponga, Bradman Best both named to back up from Origin. This is a big game for the Bunnies. So they're sitting in 8 wins, 7 losses with a plus 84 differential. This is a huge game in terms of their season. The Knights in 4th, 11 wins, 5 losses. Spoke to you about completion rates with a few sides. It's definitely a key to the Roosters, and it's also a key to the Bunnies. So their total win percentage this season, a tick over 50%. So they're in the positive, which is okay. Their win percentage when they complete above 75% can be rockets up to 67%. If you're going at that sort of number, you're going to be playing top 4 every single year. If they hold onto the footy, they win more games than they lose. And that was their issue against the Panthers. They were probably the better team for arguably most of the game. Second half, though, discipline crept in the first half with Cody Walker. But there was also some penalties and drop balls in the second half that just invited Panthers good field position, and you know what they do if you give them that. They win games of footy. So if they fix that up, they can do things. Might be a bridge too far here. No Walker, no Latrell is probably my only concern. And the Knights' edge defence has been rock solid this year. My turn for the flair, back-to-back flares, and I'm just getting lower and lower each time, Kempy. I'm getting lower and lower each time. I'm going Knights head-to-head in a bit of an... They're slight favourites, so it's not an upset. Knights head-to-head and Dane Jennings, a Dane train, $4.20, 1+. And I can tell you, not okay with that, so we're going to march right on. Sunday afternoon footy, 4:05 p.m. Manly Seagulls taking on the Cowboys. This is another massive game, 7th v 9th on the ladder. Manly sitting in 7th, 9 wins, 7 losses. The Cowboys 9th, but 9 wins and 7 losses. Clayton Falalo out with a hamstring injury. Oof. Tolu Kola, Hamoli Olakawatu named to back up from Origin. You would think Hamoli would certainly back up. Tommy Dearden listed in the reserves. Could be a huge in for the Cowboys. Ruben Cotter, Nanai won't play. He went off with got Falcon late in the game, I'm pretty sure, so you would think he not going to back up. This is a huge game. Manly favourites, $1.53. The Cowboys, $2.51. The line -4.5. The total, 48.5. Are we going to see some points here with 2 pretty flary attacks when they get going?
Yeah, Ric Flair attacks. It's a tough one because some of these games where I've expected, like for example, Dolphins versus Knights, I'm thinking it's going to be try after try after try. That didn't happen. West Tigers versus Knights, try after try after try. But I'd have to assume it's going to be high scoring. I think Manly, they got back on the horse against the Melbourne Storm, then super disappointing against the Eels.
Yeah.
They got to find some consistency because right now they actually could fall out of the 8, which is insane to think. They're but they're 2 wins inside the 8. But there are some teams pushing in, like Storm are getting a bit better. I know they got beaten by Manly. So they got to find a bit of consistency because although I would still say it was a successful year compared to where they were at the start of the season, I think that internally, if they miss the 8, they'll be super disappointed.
Yeah. Joey Walsh, she come in for the injured Luke Brooks. Bit of a baptism of fire because that game, the whole team was off against that. Or in that Parramatta Eels game, making a lot of errors. They weren't their normal selves. Have you seen much of Joe Walsh coming up through the ranks? I think we've only seen him 5 occasions now at NRL level, but he clearly, for the minimal time we have seen him, clearly looks like he's got the goods for a very, very good long career.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he is a special talent, and they are absolutely have nailed it in locking him in long term. I think his biggest challenge will be making sure he picks his moment. So, for example, and it's just like little things. It's when it comes off, you're a legend. When it doesn't, but like throwing flick passes when the game's on the line to Tommy Turbo. It's just like it's not necessarily the flick pass that's a concern. It's more just like, okay, you throw that flick pass, Tommy drops it. There are going to be forwards in that team that go, mate, just throw a normal pass for us, please. So it's just about picking your moments, and I think that wasn't. Just throw the normal pass. You don't need to throw the flick pass right now. Just keep it all simple. But that's being hypercritical of the guy. It's his 3rd or 4th game, 2nd starting or whatever. He's super talented. It'll just be a pick his moments. And you could say that about any rookie coming in.
Yeah.
I'd rather him be overconfident than not confident enough. And he's got the confidence. He's a bloody good player, and it's a big, big future for him.
If you think the Cowboys are going to have success here, it's going to be through Scott Drinkwater. His try assist numbers this year against his fullback counterparts are unbelievable. So he's got 17 try assists. The second best, look at the drop down to Teddy, who is ranked 2nd with 10. That's a massive differential in terms of try assists to this point of the year. We saw it against the Wars. He put Braden Burns over for 2, and it was just quintessential Scott Drinkwater play. He loves playing down that right-hand side of the field. He was under the pump there with that pass. The centre jams in, who tries to, thought about taking his head off for a second, and then this one just an absolute peach as well. It's an arm up fend on, who was the half there for the Wars. He scores a try himself.
Harris-Tavita, probably?
Chanel Harris-Tavita it was. And then this one, a big cutout for Braden Burns again. So he set up 2, scored one himself. Like, all the good stuff that happens in the Cowboys' good ball is generally off the back of Scotty Drinkwater. Time for your flair, Denan Kemp. I see you're getting a little soft in your old age on this show as well. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I thought I'd just rein it in a little bit here. I'm going Kobe Hetherington and Ruben Cotter, 1 or more tries. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to go the big boppers here. I'm going big boppers. I think that there might be some tries through the middle. Hetherington has played 13 and front row, so he's got a pretty good footwork, got good leg drive as well. And Cotter, he'll be looking to bounce back.
Yep.
He unfortunately didn't have the best performance for Queensland.
I'm being told that story time with Denan Kemp has eaten into the time here on the show, so we've got to fly through this. We've got to fly through this last game here. Storm taking on the Titans. We rounded out Sunday night, 6:15 p.m. Amy Park. No shocks. A Storm big favourites in this one. $1.29 head-to-head. The Titans $3.57. The Lions 10.5. It is 10.5. Total match points 48.5. Big guns are coming back for the Melbourne Storm. Probably no bigger than Jerome Hughes returning from a hamstring injury. You would think Cam Munster, Harry Grant, Trent Liero will all back up. Oren Keeley named on the bench as well for a potential club debut. Tino Fa'asuamaleaui and Jojo Fafita named to back up from Origin. Quick thoughts on this game before we get to my flair?
I think the Storm win it, but I also do think the Titans at the line is juicy.
You're with the 10.5.
I don't mind the 10.5.
There we go. Maybe a little tease for your best bet coming up later in the show, potentially. Stick around. My flair bet in this one, going to the edges, Willie Warbrick, he is flying at the moment, and Manaya Waiteti, both to score 2+. You like that one? I know you do. Denan Kemp, $19.
Wow.
Now that's a flair.
Wow.
All righty, stick around. After the break, best bets. Got a little tease. I think it might involve the Titans for Kempy. This has been Get Em Onside. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to Get Em Onside, and thanks for staying up. I know it's late after the big NRLW match earlier this evening. Denan Kemp, thanks for being part of the show. It's been superb having you on board. And don't forget, I know you're a big social media guy. All the fans out there watching, you can have your say as well and slide into our DMs via our socials. We're on the gram as well. I wouldn't mind actually you giving us a little plug. I know you've got how many followers you got these days?
Across
you're not bragging. You're not bragging. Give it to
across all social media.
All socials.
I think it's 260 on Insta. It's 330 on Facey. About 80 on TikTok, and about 50 on the YouTubes.
Wow, that little page there, the little Instagram page.
I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, how the hell did that head get followers on Instagram? That is a rough head for radio.
I think we're plugging away with about 1,600 followers at the moment. So, but hey, you've got to start somewhere, Kempy.
Hey, listen, you get your people to speak to my people. I'll see what I can do for you.
All right, I like it. Time for this, everyone's favourite part of the show. It's best bets time. I am kicking us off. We think Ponga's going to back up Kempy. We think Bradman Best is going to back up. There's no Cody Walker, no Latrell Mitchell. Newcastle Knights head-to-head. Yes, please. What do you got for me?
Listen, my head-to-head best bet to kick us off, I'm going the Titans 10.5 start. I like it. I think the Titans have been much better this last 4 weeks. They've been gritty. I think, yes, the Storm, they can put on a lot of points, but Munster will probably be a bit fatigued. Harry Grant will be a bit fatigued. Jerome Hughes has been okay this year. So I just think this might be a bit of a tighter affair.
Like it. Nice little two-legger. You can copy that bet on the feed as well. You've got your own feed profile. Mm-hmm. You can search Denan Kemp. I've got my own. The best way to do it, you can jump on the Get Em Onside feed page as well. There we have it. The round 19 best bets. Easiest way to do it, hit copy. Newcastle Knights, Gold Coast Titans plus 10.5 for Kempy. There we go. We've done it. We've made it.
Boom.
Kempy, thanks for being part of the show. You'll be back very, very soon. Join us next time. Joel Kane will be back, and most importantly, Dan Denan will be back in the hot seat. I'll be on the left wing, back to where I'm much more comfortable after the Panthers and the Broncos game. This is Get Em Onside.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.